So it's been a while. I was on my vacation and now I have Blogiversary stuff going on. But I have all these reviews that are piling up. But I'm going to be busy because school's starting soon. Um, I just got hired at a new job that I'm really excited about. So I just decided that I'm going to review like 3 books just through a video review instead of taking the time to actually write down everything. And it's been a while since I read these books, so you're really just going to get like my immediate thoughts that I remember. Probably not going to be super detailed as far as like talking about like the characters or, I'll talk about the plot, but I'm really just going to talk about like what I liked and what I didn't like, um, which actually I think I liked all of these books, so that won't even be an issue. Um, and then as far as like for Blogiversary stuff, I'm going to show you what books that you can possibly win. You won't win these copies because I'm going to just send stuff either from Book Depository if someone from international wins, or Barnes & Noble if someone in the United States wins. So yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to focus on the book that I read last, well not last, least recently I guess. Right before I got done with school, which was probably like end of June. So I really should have reviewed this a lot sooner. But it's Beauty Queens by Little Bray. Basically the plot of this is that this group of girls who are on their way to a beauty pageant, their plane crashes and they have to figure out how to survive on the island. And of course there's like a side plot with stuff involving the government, and it has a bit of a dystopian feel to it, which I really enjoyed. And I thought all the characters were really great. It was nice how the chapters kind of switched around between like who they focused on and everything else. And I mean, it was funny. Laura Bray is a terrific author, and I read her. I read the first book in the Gemma Doyle trilogy. I really liked it. It wasn't near as humorous as Beauty Queens. Beauty Queens is just amazing. It made me laugh out loud. I was telling people in my class, like, hey, you need to read this, because I was reading it during one of my classes one day, during our free reading time. It's nice to be an education major. We give you time to read in class. And no, I guess the ending didn't really surprise me. I I liked the epilogue. I heard some people didn't really like it. I don't want to like give anything away. I'll just say that the book definitely showed the growth of all the girls, and they kind of started out like they were all the same. They all were concerned with like their appearance and being pretty and saying all the right things like to the judges. But then once you got into the book, they really started to have their own separate personalities, and especially I think it was, sorry, it's been a while. I can't remember like all the girls' names, but I think the one I really liked was um, I really liked Adina. I felt like she was really interesting because she was interested in journalism, and I don't know, I guess you just kind of realize in this book like how we perceive like it's like how you perceive someone might not be like how they really are, and I kind of feel like that's the message of the book. Plus, I mean, there's the message of like survival and working together and teamwork and all that, and trying to just trying to survive for the most part. But I think one of the things I really really liked, to find it. Oh, here it is. Laura Bray would have like these. Um, it would really add to the book. She'd have these like things like commercial break, and then it'd be a script for um, like a TV show that was popular in this world. So this one was like Patriot Daughters. That cracked me up. It was like British soldiers burst in the home of Betsy Ross. I'm a history nerd, so when I started reading this, I was just like, wow, that's awesome. Like every like all these little details kind of reminded me like with Megan McCafferty's Bumped, she added in like the music and all the technology, and there was so much good like world building in this book. And I just really feel like every little detail that Laura Bray included to show you like what this world really was about and what kind of world these girls lived in, it just really added to the book. And I love authors that do that because it makes you feel more connected to the characters, and you feel more like you understand why things happen the way they do. I know I'm being really vague, but I don't want to give away this book because it's so good, and I would definitely recommend it. It would be a great beach read. I know it's like almost the end of August, but I would definitely pick up a copy, bookstore, library, your Nook, your Kindle, just definitely get a copy of this. Um, so yeah, so those are my thoughts on Beauty Queens. Sorry if it's a little sporadic. I have not done video reviews before, so I'm kind of adjusting to this. So there's that one, and then we'll move on to a book I recently finished, actually. I just haven't felt like writing about it. 11 Scandals to Start to Win a Duke's Heart by Sarah MacLean. This is the third book in the Love by Numbers series. So, and I also have books 1 and 2, which I've already reviewed, so you can check those out on the blog. The first book in the series was 9 Rules to Break Romancing a Rake, and this book was about Callie and Gabriel St. John. And then 10 Ways to be Adored When Landing a Lord. This is about Gabriel's brother Nick and the girl that he meets. Her name's Isabel. This one was really good. But the book that I was looking forward to the most was Juliana's book. And she is the half-sister of Nick and Gabriel. And she's from, pretty sure she's from Italy. She's from Italy, so she's not like, don't want to diss the English, but you know how in English romance novels, like all the girls are supposed to be like, obeying, and they aren't supposed to have an attitude or anything. Well, Juliana is the opposite of everything that a typical English proper girl should be. And it's awesome. Like, I just loved her personality. I liked her, like, developing romance with Simon Pearson. And Simon Pearson kind of reminded me of, he was kind of a Mr. Darcy at times. Like, he was really concerned about his image and what people thought about him. He sent his own sister away to live in the country because she had a baby out of wedlock and, very, very looked down upon. But instead of, like, staying up for his sister and everything, he sends her away. And, Juliana finds this out, and she doesn't really think a whole lot of him. I mean, she's attracted to him, but she doesn't really like his personality at first because he's so self-absorbed. But they really complemented each other well. Their scenes together, I felt like there was a lot of like tension and stolen glances across the room and all that good stuff that I find in romance novels that I like. And then just the way that Sarah MacLean describes, the world that they live in is really great. I love all her attention to historic detail. I like hearing about the costumes they wear and the balls they attend and carriages, the whole thing. So if you haven't checked out Sarah MacLean, you really should. She is an amazing author. This is the last book, I believe it's the last book, I'm pretty sure, in the Love by Numbers series, but you should definitely read, make sure I do this right, you should definitely read all 3 of them, which these are out of order, but you get the idea. But you should definitely read all 3 of these, especially if you haven't kind of stumbled into historical romance yet. If you're kind of leery about it, which I know some people who are really into young adult are kind of weary about trying out, more of the romance section of books. But um, Nine Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake, which is the first book, this is a really good way to get into romance novels. I like the ones that are historical more than like the Harlequin or whatever. So if you want like more of a, I don't want to say more of a storyline, but if you want, really well developed characters and a good plot and a lot of attention to historic detail, then definitely check out Sarah MacLean. She's an amazing author. Alright, and then finally, the last book I'm going to talk about is Never Have I Ever, which is book 2 in The Lion Game, by Sarah Shepard. Don't want to give away any spoilers, that's why I was really hesitant to review this anyway. All I'm going to say is I am hooked on this series. I've started watching the show now. There's 2 episodes as of today. I think the most recent episode was like last night. And I just watched it, and they're not sticking like totally to the book, which is good, because I kind of like the show a tiny bit better. I just think it has it's more plot driven. But this is a great series. If you like Pretty Little Liars, pick this up. It's just as well written, and you would want to start with The Lion Game, which the 2 main characters are Sutton Mercer and Emma Paxton, and basically they discover that they were twins separated at birth, and Sutton wants Emma to basically take her place, which, seems like it's really good. Emma grew up in foster care, so she really wants to know what it's like to have a family and all that. But it's also really hard work trying to be Sutton because they're just 2 completely different girls. And she can't let anyone know that Sutton is, she can't let anyone know that she isn't who she says she is, which she's pretending to be Sutton. And in the books, which you find out by the first page, so I'm really not spoiling anything. In the books, Sutton has been murdered, and so Emma's trying to solve her murder. Whereas in the show, they just switched places, and Sutton's off, like, trying to find their real parents. So I'm not sure, like, how, I don't know, I'm kind of surprised, like, that they did that with the show, but then I kind of like seeing the interaction between both the girls in the show, and really with the books, it's just Emma's pretending to be Sutton and Sutton's not coming back. So that's even more difficult. At least in the show, she thinks it's only a temporary switch, whereas here it's like she's gonna be pretending to be Sutton for quite a while. But yeah, I really like the characters. I think if you read the books and watch the show, you're going to get more of an attachment to the secondary characters. The girls that Sutton is friends with, and the ones that, Emma has to pretend to be friends with, I didn't feel like they were as, like, distinguished in the books, but now that I'm watching the show, I'm kind of seeing their, like, how they stand out and what their role really is, and I might even go back and reread these now that I'm watching the show. But yeah, so definitely check these out. I'm sorry if my reviews aren't like super detailed, like just know that all 3 of these books that I've shown you, I really liked them, and I would definitely recommend them. I just don't really know how to write about them as much. And then lastly, before I run out of time, I'm going to show you the books that you have a chance to win if you enter on my Blogversary, which is on the site. You can win The Lion Game, 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake, Delirium, India Black by Carol K. Carr, High Society by Ally Carter, and Bright Young Things, and then also you can win Vision in White by Nora Roberts. That is spelled. Okay. So this is about to post. I'm gonna go check out my Blogversary.